Hello and welcome. My name is Bert Hall. I'm Director of Community at The Mighty, a community platform that connects people on health topics. Today we're going to be talking about the amazing Lady Gaga and the way she and her fan community, the Little Monsters as they're known, put a spotlight on mental health topics. With me today are two people from LadyGagaNow.net, one of the biggest Gaga fan communities. Gentlemen, would you like to introduce yourselves?
You want to go, Dogo, first?
I can go first. Hi, everyone. My name is Dokan, and Dogo or short. I'm a social media editor at Lady Gaga Now and the group leader for our Mental Health for Little Monsters community on The Mighty. And I'm so excited and so humbled, as Gaga would say, to be here. And I'm looking forward to our discussion about Gaga and mental health and how it all fits together.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Matteo, and I'm the main admin of Lady Gaga Now. And yeah, I'm also so excited to start this partnership with The Mighty because, I always felt the need to do something for my fan base that always struggles with, mental health issues. So this is such an exciting project that we're doing today, and I really hope you enjoy this broadcast with us.
Thank you. Well, let's jump right in. We all love Gaga's music, movies, videos, fashion. What makes her so accessible and relatable to fans on the topic of mental health?
Well, Lady Gaga has always been on the first line when it comes to mental health topics since the very, very first year of her career. Her fight to spread awareness about the importance of mental health has always been like a core pillar, in all through the years in her career, and especially with the launch of her album "Born This Way," that followed the launch of the Born This Way Foundation with her mother Cynthia. There was like a need to give support to her fans. Then it almost like became a priority in her career, especially those young ones that are struggling with their sexual orientation or stuff like that. And I mean, for example, during her Born This Way tour, she used to have a bus outside each venue where her fans could go there and talk with mental health experts. And yeah, since this happened, she has always put the mental health topics first each time she could, and so it's literally a part of our fan base that will always look forward her when all important meetings she has or important talks, for example with Oprah last year, where she did this amazing speech about mental health awareness. And yeah, it just always connects with us, and it's always so nice to see a very important celebrity like her, to bring these topics to the general public. Then it's not such a common things to do lately, I'm afraid. But we're always proud of her for that.
Yeah, I think as Matt said, she has really been so open and honest about her mental health struggles throughout her career, and she always talked about her experiences with sexual assault when she was 19, her experiences with chronic illness, which is fibromyalgia, and how that relates to her mental health and her depression and so on. And I think as she throughout the years, as she kept sharing these very personal stories, people really started to resonate with that. And soon enough, all her live shows and concerts were filled with thousands of fans who took any opportunity between the songs to throw letters on the stage to express their love for her, but also the struggles that they've had in the past. And also, in her songs, in her interviews, her work at the Born This Way Foundation, and also her movie choices with A Star Is Born, which is about substance abuse, codependency, and how that all ties in with mental health. She really tried to incorporate that in her career, and it has always been something that she deeply cared about. So I think that's why fans really resonate with that message and really relate to her in that aspect.
So since she's made this part of her platform and her persona from the start, how have you seen fellow fans and even your friends change how they talk about mental health topics over the years, either on the site or in your personal life?
Yeah, I mean, for example, on the Lady Gaga Now timeline, on Twitter, for example, some years ago, like, it wasn't so common to see people talk about their inner struggles and their lives, and to just share what they're feeling, with their friends online. Meanwhile, in the recent years, after especially all the talks about mental health that have been going around recently, I see always more and more people trying to share their feelings or their inner struggles with online friends, and it's so nice to see how people try to find something that makes them feel safe, or that feel loved. So it's always nice to see, these little chats online where, someone say, "Hey, today I feel a little sad, I feel a little off," and there are always someone, under these threads saying, "Hey, do you want to talk? My DMs are open." So I really feel like we're going through a direction where mental health issues and talks and topics will become the main subject and of common discussion. So yeah, I really feel like lately we're doing so much to bring this subject to light, that how I say, uh, they will be so special to create moments that will bring people together, and they will give each other support. That it's nice to see that. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
What about you, Dogu? Have you seen different conversations happening where people maybe don't feel the
Yeah.
stigma about talking about it?
I think over the years there has definitely been a positive change in the community about talking about mental health and supporting people. And unfortunately, in the Little Monster community, there has been some instances over the years where fans taken their own lives, and because they're suffering and they feel lonely, or they cannot see their way out. So with these incidents happening, and Gaga also starting to talk more openly about and honestly about her own personal struggles, and also the need for the fans to understand these issues and come together as one. I think fans really realize that this is such a serious topic over the years. And also, in 2019, when she was accepting an award at the Grammys, she said something that really stood out to me, and I also believe for many other people as well. She said, I want to quote her here: "If you see somebody that's hurting, don't look away. And if you're hurting, even though it might be hard, try to find the bravery within yourself to dive deep and go tell somebody and take them up in your head." And I think now on social media, when someone expresses even the slightest sign of depression, or any type of mental health issue, you really see our community coming together and going to great lengths to make sure that the person is okay. And I think messages like this that Gaga has given us over the years has really resonated with the community, and made us really understand that they're very important, and we need to pay attention to our mental health, but also the mental health of people around us.
Yeah, seeing that message is inspiring to not only talk about your own experience, but reach out to others that you might see, whether it's your friend or even a stranger online, making that connection.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's like the most important thing.
So which of her songs resonates most with either of you on this topic about mental health, emotional well-being, or making connections? I'd love to hear your favorites.
hmm For me, I'd say "Born This Way," because that song has gave the world such power, and the song was so much bigger than people understood at the time. It's so powerful that it still resonates today. Because I mean, hearing from the major pop star on the planet that moment singing no matter gay, straight or bi, lesbian, transgender life. I mean, it literally changed the culture forever, because the world in that moment was literally singing the anthem, this anthem about love and self acceptance. That it gave people and fans the knowledge that accepting yourself, is the key to happiness. And yeah, for me, it was definitely Born This Way. That song was literally game changing for the culture.
Well, I think I'm also going to go with a song in Born This Way that is not Born This Way. I think it's Bad Kids, although it's not directly related to mental health. In the song, she says, simply, I'm a bad kid and I'll survive. And she also says, don't be insecure. If your heart is pure, you're still good to me if you're a bad kid. So in its essence, the song is just about, accepting yourself, and, radical acceptance. That concept is something that Gaga always brings up in her interviews. And the song is about accepting yourself with all your flaws and really believing that you're going to survive in the life, no matter what you're going through. But at the same time, it is about accepting other people around you with all of their flaws. So I think it really relates to the topic of mental health, because mental health comes with a lot of stigma in the society that makes you feel different. And I think what this song is really saying is that these differences are okay.
Yeah, I totally agree.
One of her more recent songs, 911, was about her experiences with medication. And I'm curious how the two of you saw that resonate with the fandom this past year. Yeah, did that hold special value for people or start conversations?
The song 911 is about an antipsychotic medication that Gaga is prescribed to take because she can't always control what is going through in her head. And the medication, as she described it in one of her interviews, it really helps her to take all of the thoughts and everything under control. And I think this was the first, or one of the first times Gaga really took us up in her head and not just told us but showed us what really happens there when she doesn't take her medication, and how chaotic that can truly be. And I think this was revolutionary in the sense that there's a lot of stigma about mental health. There's a lot of stigma about people who take medication for their mental health, and especially when she talked openly about her medication with Oprah last year. She got a lot of backlash because people really like to take things out of context a little bit these days. But she wasn't, encouraging people to take this medication. She was just talking from an extremely personal perspective about how it helped her to essentially, get through her days and survive. And there's a lot of, as I mentioned, public stigma attached to the mental health issues and taking medication to remedy that, even though, it is prescribed. And I think she was really trying to break that stigma in the public eye. And of course, that being said, I would like to, take this time to remind people that, yes, medication can help, but only when it is prescribed by a trained professional, and when it is taken under supervision. So if you need help, you definitely need to seek the professional help, and do what is the best for you under that supervision.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it best.
So many songs can resonate in various ways, and as you said, it's the individual experience of everything that really lays your map out in front of you. Any viewers watching, we'd love to hear what songs resonate with you the most for mental health, emotional well-being, or just changing how you feel. One viewer already commented that Million Reasons is their favorite, and yeah, that's a powerful lyric right there. One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Million Reasons. I mean, that song resonated with so much people. For the raw vocals and the honest lyrics. That's definitely easy.
Yeah, I also think the Marina song is probably what the listener makes out of it from their own perspective. So
I think a lot of her lyrics and songs are so personal to her, but they are so universal at the same time that, even, you don't necessarily have the same experience with it. You resonate with the lyrics because you probably have lived something in the past that is, similar to that. So I think that lyric definitely stands out to me too, with million reasons.
One of my favorite songs has been Joanne, just because it's such a personal story, and talks about how things that happen a long time ago, or even in your family, can have ripple effects out into the future, into the present.
Yeah. And now I'm seeing in the chat of someone saying the scars on my mind are on replay from the song Replay, and that was going to be my choice actually for the favorite song, but yeah, that's also a good one.
Yeah, that was also my second choice, because also she says on the song, "My scars on my mind are on replay," saying, she wants to emphasize how past trauma, can pop up at any moment again in your life, and the balance, anything you're doing at any moment. So it should be something that you should have to learn how to control, and understand yourself, and how these things can impact your life. Shouldn't be put away in a box and forget about that, but you have to embrace what you've been through, and find the best way to understand and heal yourself.
It's like saying the things that people haven't felt comfortable saying, right? One of the more interesting things she's talked about recently is the connection between chronic illness, chronic pain, and mental health. Right, that's not something that is always so clear in discussions of either one. And what I don't know, what have you seen that do? Has that started conversations about that connection in the fan community, or do people, open up about those connections? Her mother even had, wrote about this a little bit, and in talking with children about mental health issues and what they're experiencing.
Yeah. Well, also thinking about my when you mentioned chronic health, that is something also I can relate to. Not that I have it, but I also used to work in an immunology laboratory, actually, working on chronic pain, and it's something like in the field of immunology, it is still something that is not being understood. And also, Gaga also talked about this. She was trying to educate people on fibromyalgia because people, I remember there were even like some people coming up to her saying that this is not a real issue. So I think the first, the challenge with some chronic pain is, getting people to accept that it exists, and the next level would be, finding the connection with mental health, because if people don't even think that it's a real thing, how are you gonna say that, hey, I have this, and I need help with this. So I think she's doing, especially with her documentary 5'2", we really got to, for the first time, we really got a really good look into her life and what this pain looks like on a day-to-day basis, and how debilitating it can be for a person. So it really showed the world that yes, this thing exists, and it needs to be researched more, and we need to pay more attention to people who have this, and we need to find some treatments, or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember when the documentary on Netflix came out, that there was this huge like shock about the image of her suffering so bad during a time that for us was so joyful, because it was during the launch of her album Joanne. So seeing her on the table of the doctor having this terrible pain, and she had to explain that the fibromyalgia, like causes her spasm and rigid muscles. So it really made us understand how these chronic pains are such a serious topic, that reading topics and comments saying that's not real. I mean, that's not even a illness. How can you prove that? It's so debilitating. Because I mean, even some years ago, people thought that mental health illness were a real thing, that it was all in the mind, and people were just mad. So opening up about the importance of understanding this serious and real I can't say it's terrible diseases that they have to be treated so carefully and with the respect that they deserve, because everyone lives their pain or their struggles in different ways. So it is so important to respect this part of people's lives, and understand and help her, and give a hand any way we can.
One thing that I've always been fascinated by is with any pop star is the public persona that you put out to the world, and then their personal life, which sometimes they keep very private, sometimes they discuss openly. But when a star like Gaga goes through personas with different projects, sometimes it's hard to know what's the real Gaga, and she's discussed that before, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Where's that division, and how does she kind of remain authentic while still being a performer?
Yeah, I mean, the typical question, who is Lady Gaga and who is Stephanie? It was a question, and that started from the very early stage of her career. And at the very beginning, I remember that Lady Gaga used to say that Lady Gaga and Stephanie were the same entity, and there was no difference between the two persona. But as she became more famous and more known from the general public, she low-key started to keep a bit of distance from this statement, because I remember that she recently said that now Lady Gaga is the superhero that she becomes when she needs to feel more confident and more brave. So we have seen a little bit of distance from the public persona and the private one, but it's always so interesting, and I respect her so much, because after all these years and all the big struggles that she had, we still see her remain true to who she is, and especially for herself. She has always kept her artistic vision and self-integrity like unchanged. I mean, has always been something that I admire her for good. So yeah, I really think that this thing about multiple persona for celebrities has always been an important subject, and I really love how she managed to balance the two worlds.
Yeah, to build onto that, I think in the past, she only allowed the public to see, the Gaga persona, by creating all of these different characters for herself to be on stage, in her music videos, or in her films, or in her daily life. So I think for the longest time, at least for the public, not for the fans, because the fans always knew who she was, even though how much or how little she decided to share about her own personal life. But in the public eye, she was always positioned as this as a mysterious being that just existed on stage but didn't have a personal life beyond the stage. But I think at some point, like, keeping up that that persona got a little bit exhausting, probably, and she started to tone it down, especially after she did Cheek to Cheek with Tony Bennett and also Joanne in 2016. So I think she started to open up a little bit more and let people see the real her, quote unquote, that that was hiding behind the outfits and the wigs and the makeup that she was using as an armor for so long. And I think that's when the public, not the fans, but the public, saw her for who she really is, with all her emotions and vulnerability. So I think before, Gaga and Stephanie were really detached. in the public eye, but now people see, both sides, a champion of music and stage, but also a regular, person at home also, where she started to use social media more to, post pictures of her dogs or her horse or, even chickens or her zucchini sometimes. So I think this transition really helped her maintain her pop star persona, but also remain so real and down to earth at the same time.
I want to take a moment to ask any viewers if you have any questions or comments about moments from Gaga's career that have inspired you. Please do share them. We're seeing some great comments right now. And I was also interested, in her film career. It's just starting in some ways, right? But she chose A Star Is Born as her first big film role. And how does this tie into her theme of mental health and her focus on that in her career?
I mean, she's always said that, acting and being an actress has always been a dream of hers since, early age. So seeing her, in this big movie role as, as leading role, shines so bright that, that movie is now known in all over place and all part of the world. It was such, I think, a cathartic moment for her that, I mean, we could see that she was so joyful during each press event, during each red carpet, especially with Bradley Cooper, that was like such a good friend to her. She was so happy that I think that movie has really been a blessing in her life. Also because what I really liked from the movie is that Gaga is completely stripped down. We see her with natural hair, almost no makeup, and just voice. I mean, that's also, the main subject of the film, along, of course, with the serious topics. When, for example, she sings, "We'll always remember us this way." It's just that's poor Gaga. That's just herself, and a piano. So, I mean, that movie, I'm so sure that it has a very special, place in her heart, as well as ours.
What really struck me with that movie, although I seen it, I think 3 times in the theaters at the time, but in one of her interviews, she said, the real star of the movie is, bravery. At the end when she looks up into the camera, that is when the real star is born. And when we think about the classic A Star Is Born story from the years, I think this is the 4th rendition. We think about the character of Ali becoming a real star. She didn't have, she wasn't known at the beginning, but at the end, she becomes a superstar. But then Gaga saying that, the real star of the show is actually not Ali becoming a superstar, but it is bravery. Was really something that stuck with me, and also I imagine with a lot of people, because the film deals with a lot of deep issues, depression and codependency and drinking and substance abuse and mental health problems. So I think it came at a time. It was just the movie was saying that there are a lot of Ali had a lot of problems in the movie, a lot of issues, but at the end, she came out as, with bravery. She stuck out and she came out, victorious in a sense, because she was able to endure all the trauma and still come bright at the end. So I think it's a good take on a very classic story, just saying that all of these issues happen in people's lives, but you're gonna get through this at the end. So I think it's a very powerful movie.
I want to take a moment to highlight some resources that are available to anyone listening at any time. PleaseStay.us is a great place to find crisis resources, information about mental health, self-care, and it's a site that we like to support. And then, of course, the Born This Way Foundation is Gaga's own foundation, run by her mother, and many other people who work very hard to put these topics out there. In 2018, her mother actually wrote a piece for The Mighty, which was really cool, talking about the foundation and especially the focus on young people and their needs, talking with parents and other figures in their lives.
I think it's very powerful that she is, doing this with her mother, and she's leading the, the Born This Way Foundation with her mother, because I think, especially for young people suffering from, depression and other mental health issues, it can be very difficult to recognize that yourself and also open up and, tell your parents about it, and or even tell your friends, or even just tell somebody about these struggles. So I think the fact that she's out there, side by side with her mother, doing this, is really giving the message that you just need to, find that one person, that one anchor in your life, and just, to tell them about what you're going through. So I think that message that she's giving, even just being up there with her mother, is very, very powerful also.
One issue that is really important with this topic of reaching out and talking to people is self-harm. And I appreciate that Lady Gaga's even talked about that in her own life, and said that, she realized what she was doing was trying to show people that she was in pain instead of telling them and asking for help. So this theme of reaching out is really important.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most important things when stuff like that happens. If you really have an inner struggle, there is no way that hurting yourself or doing yourself damage in any way, becomes useful for yourself, because the very first thing you have to do is really telling anyone about what you're going through. Like, I mean, if you have a friend, a mother, or literally anyone, even online, like, you just have to let it out and let someone help you, and because if you're alone, I mean, it's not it's not quite, it doesn't happen quite often that you give yourself the best advices when you're, if you're in crisis or you're suffering from something. So I really love how she really put, an accent on the subject of, reaching for help, because she realized that what she was doing, she was trying just to, seek for help from anyone doing, these terrible things. But yeah, all that was, necessary or, useful at the moment would have been, just reach to someone. So yeah, I would really also encourage everyone who's listening, if you're going through anything, and don't leave the thing by yourself or alone, because there are so many people out there that love you and care for you, that they just want to help. And so please let them help you, and everything will be, will be fine.
An important part, right, is to also celebrate when you come through something, right? I mean, I think on The Mighty and Lady Gaga now, that's what we like to see as well. See people helping each other and then sharing those stories about how you came through. Have you guys seen a lot of inspiring people on Lady Gaga now talking about their experiences and trying to help others that way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this partnership. I mean, the idea of creating a safe space for little monsters, literally was born from a friend of mine that one day reached out to me and said, "Hey, I know that some fans are going through so many bad things, and I really want to do something. I really want to help, but I don't know how." So I just had this idea to create, a safe space where fans, or I mean, literally anyone, can just go and write anything they're going through, and let the good people, like my friend, try to help, or anyone listening, because there are so many people that care about others, and just do this out of passion, without wanting anything in return. That it's always good to create these safe spaces, to allow just kindness and love to spread without control.
Yeah, I think especially with social media, because our community is so global. There are a lot of people from every different country on Twitter, and Twitter usually where fans come together and interact. And on social media, if especially people are hiding behind a picture that is not themselves, it is very easy for some very not kind people to come on there and harass people and like bully people, because cyberbullying is a lot is very serious. um and I think it is this community is, especially when you see people online, it is very, since it's so global, it is very difficult to you can reach out to people, but you cannot be there for them, in physical form, and you cannot go and check up on people. So I think this community is really going to be a place where people can go and ask for help, or give advice to people. So we're excited for it to be a kind of a primary resource for people who want to talk about things in a way that is not judgmental as it would happen in a regular Twitter context.
I think especially during this past year, right? This reaching out to connect is so much more important because we're all feeling so much more isolated, and it's so wonderful to see that happening in safer places on the internet. Where it's not, you can open up and not feel like you're subjecting yourself to the opinions of everyone who might want to say something, but really get some encouragement. Any other questions or comments from viewers? We'd be happy to answer those or share anything about the Mighty or Lady Gaga now that you might have questions about. Seeing a lot of people affirming that Gaga's an inspiration for them, and that we have places to go in the fan community to get support, which is great.
I see also someone saying thank you, that we are giving them a great place to go to feel heard. So I mean, as you said, during this very difficult past year, like I think the word just gather around on the internet. So many, yeah, that was Adeline. Thank you. And so many people gather around and just went on the internet, and we experience from the best communities to the worst kind of topics. So it is always such a great moment when there's someone that wants to create a safe space in this chaos that has been the past year. So I'm really proud of this project, because even if we managed to help even just one fan, I think we did something great. Because why not? I mean, why not? I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't do this, or do more of this, because it's always good to give something new that can help or feel someone more loved. So yeah, I'm very proud of this.
Yeah, I think even if we can reach only one person with this new, like with the partnership that we're going on, I think it's all that matters. Of course, the more people that we connect, the more people that we reach, it's better. But even if we can help only one person, I think that's a very good start.
Indeed, and we all have a story to share that might inspire someone else, right? Which is something to remember, that there's always something you can say to help. We did get one question. What do you usually do to help friends with anxiety?
I mean, myself, if I can talk for myself, I usually try to stick with them as much as I can. I try to, prove them and show them as much as I can that I'm there for them, that they can tell me anything that's going through, or, if there's anything I can do to help. I really do that. I mean, not just with my friends, but literally with everyone. I mean, even on Twitter, I see people struggling with stuff, every day, and most of the time I just slide in the DMs saying, hey, do you need something? I can help you somehow. Do you want to talk? I mean, even if you don't know me, can I help? So yeah, I think that showing that you really care and you're there for for everything is really important, and not just with words but with facts, like showing that you will literally do anything to help is what I mean is the best thing to do with someone that is looking for help.
Yeah, I think just reaching out and letting people know that you are there for them to support them, but not pressuring them to talk about things, because sometimes it takes time for people to open up about certain issues and tell you their personal struggles and issues. So even just for a moment being a shoulder to cry on for a person would be really important, and letting them know that you're not going to judge them and you're going to be there for them for whatever they might need.
We have another question about how each of us individually deals with anxiety, and I kind of, to answer both questions, I always like to remind myself that the anxiety that I feel is usually not about the one thing that I'm worrying about, right? Anxiety is something that maybe I can figure out that one thing, and then it's just going to go latch onto something else, right? And it's really about stepping back and maybe doing some calming techniques or something to distract myself is really a good approach for me. And so I share that with people if they're frustrated with their own anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of relate with that because working on the on the internet, with Gaga now, there's always so much stress, from posting fast, being careful with what you write, with what you don't. So yeah, I have my very forms of anxiety too, and what I try to do is always try to distract myself with something else far from what I'm doing right now, and do those little things that I really enjoy doing, like I mean even simply watching a movie, or hanging out with friends, or just even take a deep breath and go to the park for some fresh air. I really find that useful for myself, because if you don't fight anxiety in your own way and your best way, it just keeps coming back. So this is my way. I mean,
I think for me, it may sound a little bit cliche, but taking the time to breathe is really important for me. I haven't noticed this until last year, and I was still, in doing my undergraduate course. One of my professors really started this thing where before every single class, she was making us, take a deep breath for 3 minutes. And over the course of a semester, I really felt that it was helping me, just taking 1 second or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever, how much time you need in a day, to sit down and just take a deep breath, and reminding yourself because that everything's going to be fine. And it also helps with the nervous system. If you take a deep breath, then your sympathetic responses calm down, from a scientific perspective. So that might be helpful. And also listening to music really helps me a lot. Just detaching myself from the reality a little bit and just putting on some music really is something that helped me throughout the years.
And I think we're seeing some comments to that effect as well. People feeling better thanks to Gaga's music console. One person says, yes. And that's that's why we're all here together talking, right? We all take inspiration from music and make that connection to artists that inspire us. Well, I hope that this has helped people learn more a little bit about Lady Gaga Now and the Mighty, and the communities here where fans can come together. Do you guys have any parting words or last comments before we wrap up?
I mean, I will just want to say thank you to you and the whole team for making this possible, because you guys have been so wonderful for even the smallest things that it's really rare to find people like you that are just willing to help anyone. So I really want to say a big thank you for that, for what you've done for me and for our community.
Yeah, I also want to take the time to, thank you for doing this, and also for, behind the scenes of the mighty team, who supported this partnership, and also who made this live possible. And also, I just want to thank everyone who, joined and stuck to the end and listened to us. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget to thank, also the Born This Way Foundation to make this possible, for putting
Definitely.
us in contact. And of course, thanks to Lady Gaga for making, everything possible from
Definitely.
the very beginning.
We eagerly await any more stuff from her, right, to continue to inspire us.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you both for taking part in this. And I know I'm looking forward to our continued partnership and seeing how we can help people, because that's what we like to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. To all the viewers, have a great day. Remain inspired. Listen to some music. Reach out and help someone else if you can.
Absolutely. Spread kindness and love everyone.